Hi guys, Togo here with a new video, and this video will be a expansion PvP tier list video for World of Warcraft. And now we have again Dragonflight, which is in my opinion a very good expansion. I'm going to judge it PvP wise at least on this tier list. Again, you will see the timestamps below whenever I'm talking about a specific expansion. I do try to explain my reasoning on why I put something on S, A, B, C, or D tier. I try to not ramble too much on this video because again, it's an expansion tier list. It's not like a class or spec or meta tier list, whatever. This is more or less like an opinion. It's not written in stone. People can change opinions. I did also change a lot of opinions by playing a lot of those expansions again on the real servers and also on the private servers sometimes to just again refresh my memory about a specific timeline. And I'm going to try to give my honest opinion about those expansions. Again, opinions can vary, and if you are again disagreeing with me, which is normal, please comment below why you disagree or why you do agree with me, and hopefully we can have a good discussion around that. Now, I'm going to explain real quick the tiers. So we have S tier, which is the god tiers of PvP MMORPG action. A tier is more or less one of the greatest MMOs expansions out there for PvP World of Warcraft. B tier, it is average to good depending on the pros and the cons and depending on your view in the game. If you prefer, for example, more about mod PvP, or if you want to prefer about arenas or more about the like BG action or whatever. C tier is like it has some redeeming factor, but really it is very flawed. And D tier is pretty much like the worst expansions out there for PvP. And I'm going to also explain why every time I'm putting something in those tiers. Now we're going to do chronological because it's a lot easier for me to actually judge. And again, I think it's funnier to go from old to new. And yeah, let's go. So we're talking about classic right now, classic or vanilla, and I still play it on classic eras, although sporadically because I do want a fresh server on that. I do want some changes for PvP at least on Season of Mastery 2. Hopefully they do that. Pretty much the PvP system is ranking. So you have like rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, rank 4, and rank 14 is the last one, which is going to make you have like legitimately possible to actually get gear from those PvP ranks, which is probably the best gear you can have until AQ, and then you have like some side grades here and there, and then you have next, which is overpowering rank 14 gear. It is a very grindy system. It's not about skill, it's more or less about who doesn't work and who wants to put 20 hours per day to get that rank, or who got the most friends on the server, on a Discord server, trying to bracket cut people and such. So there is possibilities to go around it, but again, that's more or less the PvP system. Combat, you have polymorphs that are going to break on random times, but also they are like the duration is very long, so it's not like an 8-second polymorph, it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, depending. Again, it will break before, but the duration is very long, so it's very annoying. Sheep shot and kidney is like without a DR, so basically you can get stun locked for more or less 8 seconds, and if they have a vanish, even more. And again, you might die before with ambush anyways, and backstabs and such, and eviscerates. I think the combat itself is very cool because it's like rock, paper, scissor, but it's not really competitive. But it doesn't really have to be. I think vanilla is like the experience where you could have a lot of fun in world PvP whenever it gets balanced, and whenever it doesn't, whenever it's really not balanced, like the fraction balance is not there, it becomes very much a chore to actually survive or actually go into a PvE or like dungeon or raid, whatever. You do get ganked by 60 guys while your server has a minority, for example. But whenever the servers are very close, like in faction balance, it makes for organic PvP everywhere, Stranglethorn, even in Blackrock Mountains and such. So I do like that aspect. And I know there's a little bit of nostalgia behind it, but again, whenever you're watching a PvP montage video and you're watching a classic one, which is a vanilla one with Swifty, a lot of those great um, like montage videos out there that is going to forge your memories. I think again, May Die, for example, Unbreakable, all those things are what World of Warcraft PvP actually made it to be right now. Those were the building blocks for the popularity of PvP, but also just dreams for many people to actually achieve those kinds of gameplay and satisfactions whenever they are doing PvP. So for me, it's going to be a B tier. It is average, but also good, depending on who you actually are as a PvP MMO specialists. I would say that if you're playing World PvP, it's one of those best MMOs out there. If you like BGs, because BGs are relevant for grinding honor and grinding those ranks and such. Again, you're going to have a blast. Unfortunately, no arenas, so that's why I'm not going to put in A tier. You have a lot of again, unbalanced things. Like for example, some classes like hybrids are not that good in PvP, but also just in general, CC durations are very long. The DRs are like a bit whack. Dispels very rare. Again, priest and paladin, that's it, and druid and shaman are really bad at dispelling. So this is pretty much my tier for classic. Now TBC. TBC has everything from classic, but more. So you have arenas, you have a better rank system. So with arena points, getting gear from it because of your rating. You have again BGs being relevant for on a farm for your gear, which is pretty much very hardcore because the point spendage on those items are very high. So you do need to grind it like often, every season at least. Well, for example, on retail, I think every season from now, you don't really need to grind honor if you played the previous season, pretty much. The imbalances are still out there. You have like clear winners, clear comps that are very strong. You have like, especially in twos, warlocks like affliction warlock, not really affliction, but like demonology warlock, like SLSL are very popular. Rogue mage, rogue disc priest, mage disc priest, all those comps, and also RMPs. Or warlock warrior comps, or like those kinds of things are again what is forging an expansion. I think there is a way, again, rest of the druids being very strong as well and fading away in WOTLK. The only thing I really disliked is like the LFG system, finding partners, having no personal rating, which they fixed that in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. But I think in TBC right now, or at least TBC Classic, I do feel like the PvP system was good, but not subliminal, because again, not sublime, because it has so many flaws, like on the balancing issues, also very grindy, no personal rating, which is for me very big. It's like the same as right now with a classic, where a PvP, if you don't have friends and you do change partners every time, you're not going to have a great time. So for me, it's going to be a B tier expansion as well. I might be biased again because I didn't really like the metas around TBC, but I did like PvP as a whole, so that's why B tier is actually a very good tier for those two expansions. Wrath of the Lich King Classic, I haven't played recently, and still, unfortunately, with all the bots and BGs and such, it's very annoying. They did fix the personal rating thing, so non like team rating. So now you have personal rating, which is actually very good. So you can actually grind with multiple people without a problem. But the LFG system is still very bad. There is no cross server search, so it means if your server is dead, like for example mine in PvP side of things, you do not find anyone. If the LFG system is flawed, then PvP is going to get flawed. I think it's a good expansion. Before I would think that it is a S tier PvP expansion, but right now with the meta, the unbalancing, like for example, this season, like season 1, which is season 5, elemental shamans pretty much like blasting everyone, like being like omnipotent in every single comp. Also, like again, since we're playing classic, there is no balancing changes, so the like balancing from right now till the end is going to be the same. So for me, it's going to be an A tier just based on that. I think if they actually did balancing changes on classic, which again, I know why people would not like that, but I think it's the way forward for classic expansions, like for example, classic TBC and WOTLK, that they do build on those versions to be better, and no, not really like retail, but still better than what they are right now. So for me, it's going to be A tier. I think if they actually did active balancing and cross faction and cross server queues, I think that the expansion would be S tier. But right now, it's still better than TBC, but it's worse than a few expansions that I'm going to list. So we are now in Cataclysm. I think Cataclysm is a tier PvP expansion. It is the same as Wrath of the Lich King. I think personal, like they don't have personal rating before in Cataclysm. I hope if they do classic that they still go for personal rating. But I'm going to judge on the balancing and the PvP side of things, how balanced it was. I think Cataclysm was a very good expansion in that. They do tend at the end to again go, what the hell is that expansion? But in the beginning of Cataclysm, I think the PvP was very nice. It was also very fresh. They changed a lot of those systems with talents. Again, they changed a bit of those talents. They did prune a few things and add another like other things, which made PvP quite fresh from WOTLK. But you did see that the downfall started at Cataclysm, like on the population side of things. But it's also because the actual PvPers or went for mobiles with League of Legends and Dota 2. So for me, right now, Cataclysm would still be a A tier based on the actual systems with gear purchasing and also just the balancing changes. I just think it's for now WOTLK is like WOTLK Classic is ahead of Cataclysm because of personal rating. If they add that in Cataclysm Classic, then it would be probably ahead of WOTLK. So let's talk about Mist of Pandaria. I think Mist of Pandaria, if we are talking about like straight balance and straight gameplay and how it felt, I think Mist of Pandaria was a very good PvP expansion, probably one of the best PvP expansions out there. I think that was also the building block that they actually used going into Dragonflight, going into Shadowlands. Although Shadowlands, they did botch a bit in the balancing changes things, and also the first season with the Covenant annoyance and the Torghast annoyance. I think overall, Mist of Pandaria was a fantastic expansion. Everyone was OP, but whenever everyone is OP, nothing is OP. You had some dampening games out there, but you had comps where you could just one-shot people. I think it's also very memorable. Like I think Mist of Pandaria, you had also a lot of PvP montage videos. I think Rekful also played a lot of Mist of Pandaria with Cataclysm as well. It was very, very fun. I really liked it. I liked every class that I played. I might again be very biased. They might be A tier, but for me, S tier, Mist of Pandaria did really a good job with the balancing side of things. Although, again, what the hell kind of things, because again, everyone was OP. But whenever everyone is OP, then nothing is OP at the end. So for me, Mist of Pandaria S tier. Now we're going to talk about Walls of Draenor. And I think Walls of Draenor, if you're talking about like garrisons and PvE side of things, they are probably D tier because they did drop the ball by having like super long patches and such. But I think PvP wise, I had a lot of fun just with the classes that I played. I played Paladin, like Retribution Paladin. I played a bit of Warlock. I did play a lot of Warrior back in the day, a lot of Hunter as well, and also a lot of Shaman. I did like Walls of Draenor a lot. And I think the PvP side of things, again, gearing was super easy. It was like, again, balancing side of things, it was quite nice as well. You had a lot of comps working, you have a lot of specs actually working. They did drop the ball again at the end because of those long patches and long seasons. I think it deserves a tier, maybe be like between WOTLK and Cataclysm. We're judging about PvP again. If you're talking about anything else than PvP, it might be even lower because they did drop the ball with garrisons, with the PvE side of things, raids, and the dungeons. I didn't really like it as well. So, but for PvP, A tier. Now, Legion is one of those expansions where people will hate me for putting it on C tier because it is just not good. I hate the templates things where you do not get a like choice on your stats, and I know most people are playing with the same stats from start to finish. I would say, like, for example, shadows like subtlety rogues, for example, in Dragonflight will always wants to play with mastery because it does so much for them. But I like to test things. If I want to play full haste, let me play full haste. If I want to play full crit, let me play full crit. If I want to play full mastery, please let me play full mastery. Also, the PvP gearing was so bad as well, and I know that it doesn't matter because basically everything was normalized, but we are playing in an MMO. I do like to have some gear differences because, again, it's an MMO. If I want to play like on an even playing field all the time, um, then I would play League of Legends. I do like to stomp some people, and then whenever I want to play arenas like Solo Shuffle or whatever, right now in Dragonflight, I'm okay to have no gear like differences, but let me choose my stats. That's why warriors for right now, like for what right now, arms warrior in Dragonflight, you can go for full crit, you can go for full haste, you can go for full mastery and have a different experience and still not be super bad. And that's what's beautiful about, like, again, Dragonflight being able to choose your own stats with gearing and such. And Legion didn't really had that. Also, the first seasons were very grindy with artifact power. I didn't like that system as well. I know that at the end of the expansion, it was a lot easier to grind, but I need to judge it from the start from finish. And again, whenever your start is very botched, you just get a bad expansion at the end, and that's why they also got rid of that dip template system because it didn't work. I didn't really like all those shenanigans with level 60s, not level 60s, but like low levels to actually kill people that were very high level because of those templates. I didn't like it, and the same reason why I didn't like BFA. Again, very grindy. You had to go for Azerite powers. You had to be very lucky for that. No PvP gearing, like active buying of those gears. You had to do a lot of Mythic Plus to actually be competitive, which is for me a no-no, like the biggest no-no you can do. Put me in Mythic Plus for getting gear is just not okay. I prefer to go for vanilla and go raid in Molten Core than do any Mythic Plus in BFA. I would detest that. Again, two different mentalities. I think vanilla is like a core MMO, and you have some PvP and you have some PvE. While, for example, BFA, it was a hub game, to be honest, and still they wanted you to go for Mythic Plus gear, and you had no chance to get PvP gear if you really want to because you have nowhere to buy it. So for me, it's a D tier. I didn't like it. I didn't like how the classes felt. There was also a lot of like shenanigans, again, like I said, with scaling, and that's why they got rid of it in Shadowlands. And I think from that point, they do get better, with Shadowlands actually being a is it S tier? Do guys, again, I want to remind you guys. I'm going to add one. Excuse me. What did I do? Okay. So Shadowlands is the reason why WoW PvP had a resurgence after BFA. You could buy gear, and I know that high grinding honor, grinding anything else made it very slow to get gear and to be competitive. You had some differences between being duelist and a combatant, and thinking about it, I do like a bit of difference, and that's why people are actually PvPing in, let's say, RPGs and 3s and 2s to get better gear, to be more competitive and to have that adrenaline boost, like dopamine. And they did get rid of it in Dragonflight, which of course, with Dragonflight, your ulting system is a lot better. You don't need to do anything except queue up. While in Shadowlands, you had to go for Torghast, you had to go for the legendary powers, you had to grind gold, because without gold, you do get no big legendary eye level increase. You had to do a lot of chores to actually be competitive. But I think the core system about PvP and how it works, and also just the feeling of the game, felt that it was one of the best, if not the best, PvP expansion at the time. But when we talk about Dragonflight, I'm going to spoil you guys. It is a S plus expansion. It is the best PvP expansion out there because the add of solo queue. If you add solo queue to WOTLK, Warlords of Draenor, Cataclysm, Mob, and Shadowlands, they would always be S tier, because solo queue is just one of the best ways to actually do PvP. And I know it does kill the queues for 2s and 3s, but it is what it is. When LFG is so flawed, people are going to take the path of least resistance, which is soul shuffle. And in general, I think Dragonflight is doing a fantastic job to let you ult very easily. So whenever your class is getting nerfed at one point or buffed, you can change at any point. You don't need to, but if you really have the urge of being the top dog, it's easy to change. You don't have legendaries to grind, you don't have like Corthia stuff, your Zerath Mortis stuff, like anything to be up to date in PvP. Is just basically just do PvP. The honor gear is also super easy. There is no upgrade system for them in PvP. It's like max eye level, so basically you buy it and you're good. I think the eye level disparity between the honor gear and conquest gear is also very low. So again, you're not going to get stomped because of a 10 eye level gap. You can get stomped because of it, because if you're like equally leveled, gear is going to matter, but it's not going to be being mattering as much as the other expansions. I think the best expansion for PvP is Dragonflight, and hopefully you do agree with me. If you do not, let me know in the comment section below. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. This is my tier list, and I think I'm very okay with it. You might think Vanilla and TBC are a bit too low or a bit too high, depending on how you view the game, but I think those expansions are good, like at their own, and they could be better by adding a few stuff and removing a few stuff. But I think in general, you're going to have a great time by playing everything above B tier. I think Legion and BFA were like big no-nos for me. I can understand why people like templates, but I didn't like it. And I think Dragonflight is just a top dog expansion. I hope they do add solo queue RPGs. I hope they do add something like an LFG system, like which is going to be better and improved on. But right now we have to wait and see for the next patch, which is 10.1, where everything is going to change system wise. Again, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Be sure to like the video if you like the video, and we will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.